the Bottom of It with your host, Josh Moriarty.
Hello, welcome back to The Bottom of It with me, your host, Josh Moriarty. How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for clicking on whatever thing you clicked on to be here. Appreciate you taking the time. Today's episode is with the one and only Jon Toogood from the New Zealand band Shihad. What an amazing band. I bloody love them. One of the best live bands you've ever seen. These guys know how to seriously rock. Probably one of the first live bands I reckon I would have ever seen back when I was about 14 or 15 in New Zealand. A huge inspiration for me. The reason I kind of got into music, the reason I entertain the way I do, all copying moves off Jon Toogood. He was a hero in New Zealand, and he taught me a lot, things that I still believe and hang on to, and ideas today of what it is to be a musician and how to perform. So we sat down in my house in Melbourne. It was a pleasure to see him. Discussed all sorts of things. He's a really cool guy, a very, very good man. It was great to sit down and talk with him. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen, Jon Toogood. It just feels like this shit storm that is constantly swirling, and you don't really want to be part of it. But I guess you can't. Yeah, you can't. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm kind of fighting a losing battle, but I want to continue to.
It depends on what you want to get out of it. I mean, it depends how ambitious you are as well. If you're,
that's the thing. I'm ambitious in regards to making music and making records, because I fucking love that and I love performing.
Totally.
But I don't want to have to post and see the war and be constantly showing people this new pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's sort of just...
like a whore.
Yeah, and it's kind of just it's the humble brag, right? It's just this bragging thing.
But I mean, we all do that even with our personal pages. I mean, everyone's doing it,
That's what I mean, even then. So now I'm trying to remove myself from even doing any of that and just keeping my life completely to myself.
Well, it was weird because we were sitting around a studio, Shihad was, making a record when Facebook started to take off, this is years ago. And we went, this will be cool, let's make pages and blah, 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 and ha, 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 and I just went, Jon Toogood, sweet. And then 2 years later, it was like, this is actually fully open to the public,
Yeah, and you don't realise for a while.
And also, I'd made a personal page, but then all of a sudden, sort of over the years, sort of accrued, people who like my band as well, and all sorts. And then it's like, well, should I be posting that, or what should I be posting?
Yes.
It's so then I had to get rid of everybody and start again in a way, because you can't. Now my personal one's called Jonathan Toogood.
Okay.
And it was a shit fight to get that, but then I got that, and then it was like. But I've got hardly anybody on it because it's just for posting pictures of my son, pretty much.
How old is
for my family?
How old's your son?
22 months.
22 months.
Yeah. So almost 2. So he's turning into.
When does it stop being months in? So once it's 2, it's 2.
I think it's 2. Yeah, I think
So all the way until 2 is the months.
Yeah, all the way until 2 is months.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. That's how it seems to work.
I kind of feel it's the same with when you've been sober or something.
Yeah, totally.
It's been sort of 20 months now.
Yeah, totally.
And then once it gets to 2 years,
yeah, totally.
Been 2 years.
Are you sober?
Oh yeah, I haven't. It's been 18 months.
Oh, good on you, bro.
About that.
Mine's been 6 years.
Very good.
Yeah.
Do you miss it at all?
Not at all. I was never a massive drinker. I just happened to end up meeting somebody who I spend all my time with who doesn't drink. And it was more like, well, I just, it wasn't even out of respect. It was just like, I don't really care about alcohol that much. So,
yes.
So, so I spend all my time with someone who doesn't drink. So I just went, oh.
Do you smoke weed or pop any pills or anything?
Occasionally. Definitely not anywhere near as much as when we first started out.
I don't think
and
anyone's smoking as much weed as when we first started.
Yeah, no, true. And
Now some people are. There's a few hanging on.
Yeah, there's a few hanging on. I mean, I really like doing it occasionally. Like it's still really beautiful to me. Like it's a great drug for music, and it's a great drug for socializing and talking and thinking about things from a slightly different angle. And
Definitely thinking about things from a slightly different angle.
Totally.
I used to, if my mixes and songs could pass the intense stone listening test, then I knew that they were good to be released to the masses. But
you do it. You do the pot test on the mixes. But even then, you're going like, well, I mean, we did that on Five Eyes. That was the first record I ever did of Shihad's straight.
Right.
So that was, and I actually think, and I was freaking out about it. Like I was like,
oh really? It was good.
I was really worried. Man, I've always gone to pot to, like to get into that creative zone. What if I can't do it without pot? I was worried about it. And then, I don't know, we just seemed to be on a mission. And we found this cool new tuning that I never played with before.
What do you guys tune on that?
Oh, it's all like, it's like a standard tuning one tone down, so E flat. But then you drop the low E string to a G sharp.
Yeah. So it's drop G sharp basically.
Yeah. Drop.
Everything
G
else is standard, but you've got.
Standard,
it's like being in drop D, but you go.
Well, no.
Oh no, it's not,
because it's an octave of the A string. So normal A string, and then the octave below.
Okay.
So you're down into bass tuning, basically.
Right.
So it's and it's really hard to play. It took us ages to learn how to play it in tune because it's the string is so floppy. But we basically, I think the Mint Chicks did it on Crazy Yes Dumb No.
Yeah,
and it was such
all
a
those
cool
songs
sound.
have got that really fat low.
Yeah, it's a really cool sound, and it was like, but it is a bitch to tune, especially when you got two guitars. They only had one guitar, see? So we've got two guitars. So if one of us is out, it just blows that effect, because the effect you're looking for is basically just one big string that's just playing a great bass line, basically.
Yes.
So Phil and I are the top end of the bass, and Carl's the low end of the bass. And when we're all in unison playing something like, say, Think You're So Free, it's just like, it's just big when it's in tune.
Yeah.
But when it's out of tune, it's sort of like, sounds messy. But so you have to learn how to play it. But then, so I'm straight with this new thing. We've just toured with Black Sabbath, and I was going, wow, that's what I like about metal. That's right, like big riffs that stick in your head. And then it was like, living in Australia with Tony Abbott as Prime Minister, John Key's Prime Minister in New Zealand, and just sort of watching this sort of, the neoliberal sort of economic sort of theory play out in reality, outside of their merchant banker heads, and yes, sure, their mates were doing okay, but then there was a shitload of people, because they were doing so well, that had to wear that on the other side.
Yes.
Hence the sort of disillusionment in the West with Western democracies all over the place, and it was just the right time to write a heavy record, and the right time to be straight to write a heavy record.
Did you notice a huge difference in yourself, or I feel like it's just the same?
I actually found I was much more motivated, and much more.
I find more decisive as well.
More decisive, definitely more decisive, and much more. My output's like way bigger. Like I'll just like I'll go, okay, well that's a great idea. Not get too wrapped up onto it, and then move into another idea.
Okay.
So like ideas come, and you don't become so attached to them. Like when you get stoned, you can like add 50 guitar parts to one riff, and they all work because you're all hearing the way the harmonics are hitting, and sometimes that's cool, but it's not really great if you want to like write a lot of songs and you've got something to say and you want to say it, like.
Absolutely.
So it was good to be straight to do that sort of record.
I've found the needing to be stoned to create thing always a load of shit.
Yeah.
If it's in you, you don't need to be stoned to get it out. It'll always be there.
I think it's nice if you're just tottering around and you're not really that inspired. It can actually put you into that zone. Like it can actually go, oh, I can hear that bass line now, or I can hear it. So it can be a good starting point. But I think if you're already in the zone of writing, you don't really need it at all. In fact, I didn't. I mean, that was the best record I think that Shihad's done for ages, and that was straight. So it was like, okay, cool. So I can.
Well, and so why do you say it's the best one in age? So was there something wrong with the other ones, or you feel like you?
I just think they're sort of like they sound like they're trying to get to an idea that they didn't quite get to. Like. I think the last record before then that we did get to somewhere was probably Love Is the New Hate, but then that's fraught with like weird production issues and it's like for all the great songs on it, it's got bits where I just go, that didn't need to be on there, Whereas Five Eyes is like great from start to finish for me, and like the General Electric or Killjoy or Tune, like they're complete ideas, like from start to finish. They need all those songs to work. Whereas some of those other records, they've always got one or two songs that I can always go back to and go, yeah, I'm proud of that. But then they'll have a lot of, I'm trying to get to an idea, but I haven't quite got there,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I listen back, and it's cool. It's cool to see the process, but in a perfect world, I would have waited till I'd got there.
Well, that's an interesting thought, because some people don't put out records until they
get there.
Yeah, until they're 100% behind it. But I guess but
then from a career perspective, that can destroy momentum. And
we
all need momentum.
Exactly, I completely agree.
Yeah, we do need momentum, and that's something that I've known so many great artists like along the way where I go, well, you can write lyrics better than I can without a doubt. But they don't end up having a career because they become so precious about their ideas, no one ever hears them, apart from their mates who go, listen, you should release this, or finish it, Finishing an idea, it's that commitment to finishing an idea that luckily I was surrounded by the right people when I was young to go, look, let's just finish it, And so
you weren't the closer when you were young?
No, I mean... No, I don't think so. I was more of the sort of start of the idea and here's what I think and blah 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 blah.
Sure.
But like I had pragmatists around me, like Tom Larkin, who's a producer, and that's why he's producer, because he is a results driven guy.
Absolutely.
It's like
I like that about him.
Yeah, and it's like because nothing exists until it exists in the real world, Ultimately, that's the way we look.
I completely agree.
Yeah. It's weird though, because it's like I say, I've met people that I know can play guitar better than me, I know can write better lyrics than me, or are way more poetic than me, but they don't have that finishing instinct, so therefore they don't have a career, and they're not living that dream that they want to do, or what they're made to do, they're made to do it, obviously, because they're great. But see, you just need the right people around you sometimes, I think.
I've always been the get it closed guy in all the bands that I've been in, and I just make sure I start bands with guys who I love what they can create, and then I'll just close it for them and just pepper it a little bit.
Yeah,
with
right.
A few
No, that's cool.
And then put my name on it with them.
I've definitely got better at closing, and that's come out of just after making 8 records with Shihad and having people sort of be the ones to go, yep, that's where it's finished, or come on, you need to do more work. I sort of got sick of people telling me when things were done, so just with being obstinate, I went, right, I'm going to do this thing called The Adults, where I'm going to say when it's finished, and I'm going to say that's good enough, Also, we'd sort of got into this because we'd worked with Garth Richardson in America, in Vancouver, these sort of big what I call Hollywood blockbuster production type guys who know how to make those huge sounding records, which is it's an art form in itself. we'd got into that whole idea of tuning everything meticulously, punching in everything, and that's how you make those blockbuster sounding records.
Yeah.
But shit, it's fucking boring, you know, like it's really boring process for a creative, especially if you've done it a few times. It can be fun the first time because you're going, well, this is novelty, you know, like,
absolutely.
so I can deal with it the first time. But once you're on record 3 or 4 of doing that, it's like, I don't want to make records like this anymore. I want to make records like we used to do, which is like tune at the start of the track, everyone in tune, right, cool, 1, 2, 3, is the red light on, let's fucking go, you know? That's exciting to me, you know? And that's where that you get those fucking magic bits where the harmonic of that bass is hitting at that time, and it's like,
absolutely.
well, I would never have been able to do that if we'd punched in every fucking note, you know? So so that's what The Adults was. And it was also about, you know, talking about, you know, what you were talking about earlier, which is like, you know, surrounding yourself with people who are creative and watching, you know, and just being the conductor of other people.
Yes.
You know? I mean, I'd always play the bass because that's my way of having some influence on where the song's going, you know, like...
I feel like that has the most influence.
It does, and I'm being a little bit disingenuous there. I was actually being a complete bully, really, because the bass does say, this is where it's changed to
we're
a
changing.
pre-chorus, whereas this is where we changed to a chorus, well, this is where we're in another world, just by moving it, you know, up a fret or two.
I think that's why I became a bass player recently, just so I could do that. I got tired of waiting for bass players to not... Because I jam with... you know Joe Betchadupa?
Yes.
Joe,
right.
For years. He's great.
Yeah,
but I was always getting annoyed with him because he'd be stoned and he'd be in the zone just playing this thing and he wouldn't look up. And I'm like, bro, we need to get to the next
We need to move, yeah.
But he wouldn't do it because he was just having such a good time. So
yeah, totally.
He left the band and then I started playing bass and I don't know if I'll look back, really.
Oh, no, seriously, the bass is, for me, it's like, I would play that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It's the best job in rock and roll.
Yes, I agree.
It's like you can, I mean, in my days when I used to like party hard, you could destroy, if you're a bass player, you could destroy yourself and then still turn up and do your job, you know? Like,
being the singer's a nightmare.
Voice, you don't have to worry about your health. You could kill yourself and still play the show, you know? Like, and it's such a great instrument because you are literally, you're in both camps. You're melody and rhythm, you know, like you're part of the kick drum as much as being part of, making people's spirits soar when you change and, you know, up into that note, you know, like.
Well, I hadn't really paid much attention to Carl's bass playing and Shihad because I never was, but yesterday I was going through the records. Oh, right. He's really good.
Solid, man.
I started to see the things that he was doing. Like melodically, I hadn't really listened to bass before. It's only in the last 4 or 5 years that I've been properly paying attention. And then I keep texting my bass player friends every time I hear and notice something. And
well, I mean, like the whole mood of, say, like the end of Pacifier, you know, with, you know, the whole, come on, let's take a look outside. It's the way he's moving underneath it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's actually giving you that sort of triumphant, sort of melancholy sort of vibe, you know? It's like... And if those notes weren't there, it'd be quite bland. But
there's such an art to understanding what you need to play on the bass.
Totally, man. And I'm always when I'm on the bass, I always err on the side of caution. Like the less is more, definitely. You know, like because you can literally, if someone's playing something, you know, on the guitar, you know, you change it from happy to sad within a space of a fret. You know, like, and that's the but you know, so you've got to pick your moment, you know, like.
So have you, now The Adults is the first solo thing that you've kind of done?
It was.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, and when I say solo, it's like it's collaboration.
Yeah.
It's just it's an exercise in collaboration, you know.
Are you going to continue?
I'm actually about to mix the second one.
Right.
So yeah, and I'm just in the final sort of getting the singers like to do their singing parts on it. So, but in this time around, unlike where it's in New Zealand based, that was like, you know, right from the rhythm section up, it's all New Zealand players that I wanted to play with. This starts with traditional Sudanese female musicians,
right,
in Khartoum as the basis of all the music.
Okay.
Yeah. So and it's a form of music called Aghani al-Banat, which is literally translated as girls' music. Now, girls' music, it's not a put down. It's actually, it's really cool. It's really powerful because it's an Islamic country, so usually boys are in control, you know, like in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So it's a chance for the females to get together and actually sing about their issues and sing about their things. But usually, it's actually it's all really uplifting. It's really
Okay.
positive, celebratory music that is usually played at weddings. And the wedding is everything in Sudan because it's what binds societies together.
Sure.
You know, and they don't drink, so that's the party. You know, that's the party. And there's weddings every day in Khartoum, and it's less about the two people getting married, as more the marriage of two families and what comes out of that. You know, so and they're usually 5-day affairs. And on one of those days is a day called the Jurtik, which is purely for the females. And
So you've been to quite a few of these?
no, I've been to my own. That was it.
Right.
Yeah. So, but the Jurtik is the only male at that is the groom. So that's me, at my wedding, and 300 females, and they're all just friends of the family or family members or
300.
Yeah. Well, that's small.
Whoa.
Yeah, we had a quiet one, so that was 300. That was quiet. Usually it's 500 to 1,000. You know, like big. They're big
Yikes.
things. You know, they don't have gigs. You know, that's the gig. You know, and so usually you're matched up with so even the band has to be female because the bride does a super beautiful dance which only her husband's supposed to see and the females and it's been done for centuries. You know. And usually females are taught it as they're growing up. My wife's the daughter of a UN diplomat, so she was brought up in Finland and Saudi Arabia and all sorts. So she had to do a crash course with the band that they used and learn all the moves, basically.
Learn all the moves.
Yeah. Because they all signify something, you know. Anyway, at that thing, I went, wow, this music is so fantastic and filled with hooks. I just want to record with you guys, and so the following year, I went back to Khartoum and recorded with these musicians. And what they do is they are doing songs, but their forms, they sort of like they go for like 27 minutes in one bit, and then they'll do a 4-minute bit, and then they'll do a 17-minute bit. You know.
Is it based on particular rhythms, like African kind of music, or?
Yeah, it's North African, so it's in between the Middle East and Africa. So that's what I loved about it, because it was like they're singing in Arabic in a very Sudanese way, which is quite relaxed. The melodies bordering on Middle Eastern at times, but then because they're right next to Ethiopia, Somalia, and all these other countries, the rhythms are more relaxed. Because I find with some Middle Eastern music, I've always loved the melodies, but I find the tempos are a little rigid or a little uptight sounding, a little bit.
Sure.
Maybe. This is like, because of where it is, it just chills it right out and makes it really groovy. Yeah, really danceable. So basically that's and because of the way they play, they're just doing voices and doumbeks and tablas and hitting gourds and floating in water and it's all rhythm instruments, not melodic instruments. So I just went, okay, I'm going to play bass with this from my perspective, like.
Very cool.
So like, say referencing the Clash, then putting that into that situation.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, so that's the meeting of the two things. And then because it's female, I've been like looking at female artists over here to do the singing, the English singing,
Yes.
like I'm going to be doing a bit of singing on it, but I already know that's not my interest to me, it's like.
It's nice to step away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
and
awesome.
just to be the director.
Well, I like hearing how other people think about music, or other people, and I like hearing different vocabularies, like different dictionaries of a life, like I know what's happened to me, like.
And you start to just know how you're going to sing and do things as well. I find I've been writing a lot of instrumental things recently, because I just start to sing and I go, fuck you, I'm tired. I'm tired of listening to you.
I'm bored of you. Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't surprise me anymore.
No.
I think, and that's I mean that's true, and that's why I do this, because it's like it's like a holiday inside someone else's head. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, all right, I didn't realize you could say the same thing in such an entirely different way. Because ultimately, it always comes back to the basics of being a human: love and loss and life, and why are we here and what are we doing, and it's all, we're always dealing with the same themes, but you get sick of the way you do it, the way you say it, articulate it.
Well, yes, sometimes you just need a break from saying it as well,
Totally.
and yeah, I guess
Absolutely.
like you're saying with Five Eye or whatever, having the right inspiration at that particular moment.
I just had something that.
So Five Eyes?
5 Eyes. Yeah, it's because five.
You don't have the
FVEY is the official governmental, name for it.
Yeah.
But it's the 5 Eyes Agreement. So Canada, England, America, Australia, New Zealand.
Okay.
It's just it's just information sharing, between those allies.
Well, yeah, one of the questions I've asked people is, have you said everything, or have you done everything? Like, would you be happy tomorrow
to
if they?
die.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy dying, because I'm still quite afraid of that whole idea that I know it's coming. But would I feel like
Have
I've
you done it? Is there
a
more?
lot?
But even until the day you die, do you think there'll still be inspiration, still things you want to create and do?
Oh, man, seriously, like, there's nothing better than hearing something new for me, like, it makes me want to stick around on this planet, like, it's like, so if I'm involved in that process in some way, like with the adults, like hearing someone go, say something amazing, or come up with a melody line where you just go, wow, where did that come from? I want to be around for that, Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to be part of that. So I don't know, I mean, is there things I want to say? I'm not sure about that. I wouldn't describe it as that, but I still like that experience of hearing something new, or being involved in something new. So I'm still driven in that way to stick around for that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what else I want to say until I get there, I think.
How long have you guys, Shihad, been a band for now? 30 years nearly?
Oh, at least 25. I mean, so we got together in a band room in 88, so my maths isn't that great.
Yeah, that's nearly 30 years.
Yeah.
Because it's 2017.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And next year will
There
be
you go.
30 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Have you had any other long-term relationships of that?
Only with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still, everyone's getting on?
No, everyone gets on better now than they did when we were touring a lot, because we get breaks from each other, and we have our own space to go and do other things, and then, when you come back together, you go, oh, what's been going on? And you've got things to say.
Yeah.
It's like, rather than when you're on tour, you go, oh, what did you do last night? Fucking same thing as you did. What were you doing? Like, I was in the room where you were snoring all fucking night. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you don't piss each other off, like you don't, you just have space to live your life. So you've actually got something to talk about when you come back together. And I think you're far more forgiving of each other, when you have that space as well,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Is it, sorry, I had a thought.
all good.
Is it something so, are you guys are you winding down now? Is this?
Well, I mean, I was sort of like,
Because I think about the General Electric time, pacifier time, where it was this.
oh, we were playing a lot.
But yeah, and going for that, like trying to be.
Oh, ambition. Yeah, our ambitions are totally different. I mean,
just different, yeah.
it's different. I mean, it's not like, I mean, we've already done 3 writing sessions for this next record, and it's still sort of like digging around with that crazy tuning, but using it in a far more sort of angular, almost dark, jazzy way, and it's like, it's darker, because, I mean, that is a heavy record, 5 Eyes, but it's still a pop record, it's really poppy. I mean, compared to what we're doing at the moment. So I don't know where that's going to end up, or blah, 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 because I'm still yet to attack the vocals, because we always write music, tons of music first, then I'll hack into it with vocal melody ideas. and then when it comes to finalising it.
And that's always been the case?
Yeah, pretty much. I need music first, you know. I need to know what the atmosphere of the music is doing to dictate where it's going to take me lyrically, you know, like, is it sad, is it heavy, is it angry, is it whatever, you know, like, I need to hear the canvas that I'm playing with, you know.
Yeah, sure.
I don't really, and I sort of write instinctually from there, and then clean it up, you know, like a little bit, if at all, and then, but I do wish sometimes that I was one of those nerds that walked around with a notebook, because there's so many days where I just go, oh, that would be great, but then
I've never done that.
Yeah.
Once I've got the vague melody, and then I'll sing it throughout the day and tweak little lyrics, but I never have lyrics already written before I have a song. I don't know many people that do. Poets, they're usually not really singers, I feel like. Just actually...
Yeah, so you reckon most people do like hear the chord changes and then go, la la la,
Yeah.
that sounded like I said something like that, and then...
Yeah, most writing sessions I do, people are just singing the gibberish over the top until then you sort of formulate words from there, but I don't know anyone who ever has.
Well, I mean, that's how I do it. And jazz opened me up to doing something slightly different on this last record, which was know what you're gonna fucking sing about first. And that was different.
Jazz Coleman.
Jazz bass. The thing is, I'd already got melody lines and stuff like that, but he wouldn't let me write anything because I had to go to Sudan for this recording thing, and he wanted me to just pick up on the vibes over there and then come back. And so basically what we'd do is every day we'd attack a song. So he would get me to, you know, put the melody line on a keyboard of the vocal, and then would wait until it was nursery rhymey enough, so it was hooky, and then you go, yeah, that's good enough. Okay, now what is this song about? And we'd have to go, okay, well, I want to talk about this. Well,
so all four of you guys in the band?
No,
or
just me.
Just you, okay.
Just me. What is this song about? Find out what your heading is. Like, it's about this. Okay, cool. It's about the divide between rich and poor. Okay, cool. Okay, now when you wake up tomorrow morning, don't think about the song, don't listen to it. Write down everything about that subject and that's in your head. Just let it fucking fall out of you. And don't worry about form or structure or you know, syllable length or blah, blah, blah. Right. Which was, I've never done that before. And what I really liked about that was I wasn't filtering, I wasn't having to filter what I actually believed about any of those subjects or trying to fit it into a format. I was just letting it spew out of me as a human being. So I had all this, like I'd have pages and pages of words, and then we'd take that in and go, okay, let's listen to that melody line again. Okay, you've got 3 syllables. Go through all your lines.
Wow.
Oh, there's something that's sort of 3 syllables. Yeah, cool. That's how we do it, you know. And it was awesome because I was basically stealing ideas from myself. You know, it's cool. It was a really cool exercise.
Well, I don't feel like there's, you know, that many producers anymore that work like that, producing a whole thing. So now that we have the bedroom producer, as we call it, you know, they're great at producing music, but I don't feel the producing people seems to be getting a little lost.
Yeah, it's different. Usually producers now are just songwriters, aren't they?
Yeah, they can make fat beats, bro.
Oh, actually, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
They're really good at that side of things. They're great on Logic. They're great on Ableton.
Yeah, true.
But they're not good at that thing of getting
the songwriting thing.
Yeah, we're in a totally different age now. So that's so cool that someone like Jazz Coleman has that kind of.
Yeah, no, it was cool, man. It was awesome. It was like. Just a really nice way to actually get around that whole thing of going, oh, I want to say this, but I've only got fucking 4 syllables to say it, you know, like, So just putting that aside, you just park that idea for a little bit and then just write like what you think as a human being and let it all fall out. And it was really nice. And doing it first thing in the morning before you had food or anything, just like, so you're still sort of slightly in that dream state, you know, like, you know,
like that a lot.
You're still sort of connected to that other thing, you know, that non-everyday life sort of thing, you know?
That must feel really good at the start of the day to get all of that out
Totally.
of yourself as well.
It was awesome. And then to have all this material to then steal or sample, that's your own, great, rather than sampling it from somewhere else,
The greatest thing about music is purging yourself of, it's like our rugby or whatever. You need to smash into people and yell and scream and play loud guitars.
It's interesting. I've so lost touch with a lot of modern rock music because I find it doesn't inspire me at all.
Yes.
Like the music I'm listening to that's new, it's all hip hop basically because
those guys are pushing the future.
They're pushing on the production thing, but they've also got something to say. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. It's like they've got a legitimate beef, so they've got something to say. It's like, and I'm not, like if some hip hop guy talks bullshit, it's still bullshit to me. But I'm talking about Kendrick or J. Cole or like
those two records are fucking incredible.
Fucking amazing. Yeah, awesome, amazing. And it's like it's great because these young guys who have discovered jazz or real old real music and gone, okay, so what if we grab people who can play that shit and put it in our and then they conduct it in a totally different way and it becomes new again, and it's like, and it's worth listening to because it's pushing the limits of production, sound, sonics. It's exciting to the ears, it's whereas rock and roll's harder to do that with, because we sort of pushed it to the limit, pretty much in a lot of ways. I mean, like I quite like this British band called Idols. I thought they were quite good.
Okay, I haven't heard that.
They're cool, but in a really sort of nostalgic sort of post-punk thing. And I just like hearing a guy screaming in a British accent, because I'm so sick of hearing people putting on an American accent and screaming in that. So that's quite nice.
Well, I'm trying.
And he's got lines like, the best way to scare a Tory is to read and get rich. And saying that over and over again. It's like fucking great in a rock and roll song. I like hearing that,
Well, I think rock and roll has always been about the spirit of it, right? So it's never really, to me, it's not really about production or anything. It's about the feeling and the message of it. So there can still be some there's still room for more and more great rock and roll bands.
Yes.
It's just maybe there's a complacency where people aren't.
I personally think that everyone's too fucking comfortable.
Well, of course, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable, and
I'm really comfortable.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's just like, well, we've all got our iPads and iPhones and blah blah blah, and it's like, well, what are we going to sing about now? Oh, I don't really like those Donald Trump supporters. They seem a bit scary.
The new,
it's just like, well, that's just not fucking good enough. It's like, I just find a lot of rock and roll just. It's about haircuts and fucking parties and it's boring. It's fucking tedious.
Yeah, well, I think the thing to be singing about is all of the things that is iPads and is Instagram. That's what the new All the Colours lyrics are shaping up for me for our new record, is just a commentary on kind of not the demise of society, because by no means do I think it's like that.
No.
But I am a little disgusted by people, and it's sort of just a bit of a vehement.
I think the best way to be not disgusted by people is to actually just talk to them one-on-one.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think social media's got a lot to do with that lowering of consciousness all around the world.
It's just everyone attacking each other all of the time. No one's really.
Honestly, it's like it's not healthy for anybody.
No, you can't have an opinion.
It's not healthy for me. I still can't stop looking at it because it's like a fucking sore tooth. I just can't stop playing with it. I still can't. I've got to find out what ridiculous bullshit's coming out of the Republicans every day. I've got to find out. I've got to know, and then I've got to get outraged because I love reveling in it. And then I feel sick afterwards, and it's just like, hold on, this is not helping me. It's not helping anybody.
It's an addiction, though.
It is.
You have this need to keep going back to it, and it just continues to make you feel sick. And then once you have a break from it, you get needy for it again, and then you go back to it. And I don't think a lot of people have realized, because it's so part of our life now, and our business and your work and everything's, so it's hard to find a healthy way
Well, I honestly always feel much better about just having a conversation one-on-one with human beings.
Well, then you never really get in a problem. Like, it doesn't usually end in arguments that much.
No.
Loud voices, maybe, but not
Yeah.
fist fights.
And I tell you what, the other thing that I've found that's been really helpful is to do something for other people. And that always makes you feel better.
Yeah.
That always it's not once I've actually given something to somebody, or if that's my time or a guitar or money or whatever, I've never felt worse after doing that.
Absolutely.
I always feel better. And what does that say? It says to me that, it's because by caring for other people, you're caring for yourself. Because we're all ultimately just manifestations of the same fucking thing. So the more angry you are at other people, the more angry you are at yourself.
Always.
And it's like...
you learn that as you get older.
Whether or not that anger's, you've got a legitimate right to be angry. There are things that, about the way the world's moving that actually legitimately make me angry, and I think I'm fully within my rights as a human being to be angry about it. But it still doesn't serve me as a human being to revel in it for so much. And there's a part of me, that real base sort of animal part of me, that loves reveling in it. Reveling in the outrage and the fucking anger.
We all do. Yeah, that's what the news is about. It's just kind of priming people and showing them shock horror, on the front of the newspaper, so they can go, yeah, this is a fucking outrage.
Yeah. But then you start seeing your hardcore lefty mates go, I'm gonna fucking punch some racist prick in the face.
Yeah.
And you just go, you're exactly the same. You're a mirror image, right? So we've just lost. You've lost instantly.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a long game. If you want to deal with empathy and charity and fucking generosity and being good to your fellow man, it's the long game. There's no quick fucking fix with that one.
No,
but we all want the quick fix because we're all fucking used to it, because our world is speeding up, it's like, it's so fucking efficient, it's ridiculously efficient.
I think we need to, I know. I'm trying to step out of it and just feel better so that I can be better to other human beings.
Yeah, totally.
If I remove myself from social media, then I'm kinder to my friends. I don't see disgusting things going on, and I can just be a better person. And that probably has more impact than posting some bullshit about, look at this idiot who said this. What the fuck does that do?
Honestly, it's just, you're not winning. You're fighting a losing battle as soon as you fucking post anything, there's, even when it comes to music criticism, it's like, there's bands that I just don't get at all, I can't stand, but I'm not gonna waste my fucking time going on social media and say, the only time I'd actually go on social media is to say, fuck, you should listen to this because it's good.
Yeah.
Because it's helped my day out, why would you waste your time spending time going, this is shit? It's like, if you don't like it, just don't fucking listen to it. Move on, this life's too short, but yeah.
Have you gotten better at that though as you've gotten older? Is that something you used to be like, or?
When we were touring hard out and we had that blinkered view of, we're the best fucking band in this country, get out of our fucking way, which is what a rock and roll band needs to be good.
I do agree, yeah.
But there's that arrogance that comes with it. And it's also, as an older man, you can look back and go, the thing is, you do need it when you're young, because you've got to fucking prove a point. You've got to, and you've got to have that ambition to be good. If you're going to say we're better than everyone else, you better fucking back that shit up. You
have to be better.
You better be better. And so you've got to believe it. So usually when you're doing that, you're brutal about everybody else as well. It's like, and I know every single band that I've ever met that are good will usually tend to have a slightly gnarly edge to them, because they're on a mission, They're on a mission to fucking prove to the world how good they are. So you better get out of the fucking way. So, but as an older person, you can go, that's cool. I don't want to waste my time making anything sub-brilliant. I still want everything I do to be fucking as good as I can possibly do. But then you're also more realistic about it. It's like, just because I'm doing something good doesn't mean someone else can't do something awesome as well. It's so stupid to
it's not
think
a
that, you know?
competition.
It's such a retarded way to think. It's like, but you know, that just seems to be the way you are when you're younger, you know, like you just sort of.
Well, yeah, you do need that because it's so difficult. And
Well,
to
it's
get
so
anyone,
scary out there as
Yeah,
well.
and
You
to
know,
get
it's like
anyone-
you against the fucking world. You know, you and
Yes.
your buddies or whatever. If you're a band, you know, it's like, so you've got to fucking have that blinkered. You can't let it all in. You know, like, but then as you get older, I was like, well, fuck, actually, this is good. This is good. This is good. And it changes your music for the better as well, I reckon, because then you can steal from so much more. You know, like.
Well, I want to be better than the band that's better.
Yeah, that's right.
So it is slightly competitive in that it makes you want to
definitely.
actually.
But it also makes you strive for being better.
Yeah,
and it brings
absolutely.
your music up. You know, there's nothing wrong with a bit of healthy competition. I think it's great. But
What do you do when you're not making music? Do you have hobbies?
more recently, to tell you the truth, I've actually been working, like just doing because I manage myself outside of Shihad, and I've actually been learning for the first time in my life how fucking the business side of things works. And now, the reason I've always stayed away from it is because it makes my fucking skin crawl. You know, like
Music business?
Well, no, just business in general.
Okay.
The idea, I've always had this love-hate idea with making money. You know, it's like money's the devil, art's the angel. You know, but you've got to fucking pay the bills, and you've still got to, you know, like, and now when you have family, you've got to feed your family, you've got to put a roof over their head, blah 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 blah. But it's taken me years to find that balance of being able to make money out of my art, you know, and it's I think everyone goes through that, but the way I used to do it was like just fucking give it to somebody else, let them worry about it, and I'd be just
They
all
never
music all the time.
they never care enough as well.
But
Sometimes.
ultimately you're still going. You're not getting away from the fact that sometimes business is fucking icky. You're just letting someone else do it for you, but
Yeah.
you're representing you.
Yeah.
They're still doing it in your name. So that's it's a farce. So as I got older, I went, well, I better find out how this works, you know? Because the thing is, you know, there is something, you know, when you take business to its like full conclusion, and you're dealing with people who just, you know, trade on fucking, you know, the stock exchange,
Yeah.
and don't actually do anything apart from just gamble on money, you know, and gamble on futures, and you know, don't give a fuck about what they're buying or selling. They've got no moral code. Yeah, that is disgusting, right? Without a doubt. But if you're doing it with the intention to, like, you know, look after your baby and look after the person that you love, and actually, you know, the other thing I do is, like, every time I walk on stage, I go, before I go on stage, I go, I want everyone to walk out of this room happier than they walked in, you know? I want to make sure that they...
You've always been like that.
Yeah, but I never really thought about it from a sort of, they're paying this much money to come and see me. I've never thought about people buying tickets. I was always like, is the room full? You know, like...
But I feel like you've always wanted to make sure everyone in an audience has had a great time.
Absolutely.
And been safe as well.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, no, definitely. But it's more like I'm actually... Now I'm older, like say I'm doing my solos thing, you know, like I know that a person in there now, they're there to be uplifted, they're there to sing their favourite song, but they also paid $50 to fucking do that, you know. I never used to think about that shit. But now, that doesn't put extra pressure on me, but it does make me go, that's an obligation I have, you know. I'm going to fucking entertain the ass off that motherfucker for paying that money, you know, like, and I'm going to do it with everything I got every time I walk on stage. So that's my way of feeling less icky about dealing with the business side of things as well. It's like my purge is the actual show itself. It's like, yeah, sure, I'm getting paid quite well from the show, but I'm going to make sure that I give as much, if not more, than what I'm getting paid for that show. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. It's like, it's so strange. It's like, I still battle with it internally though. It's still like...
Well, I feel like watching you throughout the years when I was younger, that's something that I took from you, was just that walking on stage with a positive attitude
Yeah.
and saying, hello, how are you all doing? Let's have a really good time. And now with Miami Horror, like that's exactly what I always try and do. And I kind of pinched it off
because
you.
the show wouldn't be a show without those people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and
that is just as much a part of the show as the fucking drum kit or the guitar amp or, you know.
It's not hard to treat them with respect and bring everyone in to have a really good time.
Absolutely. And that whole transcendent feeling, you get it from that communal humans to being good to each other vibe and actually expending energy at the same time that's actually positive. It's a beautiful feeling to be inside of it, you know, like it's great.
Yeah, well, I just love that watching you.
Yeah,
guys.
well, I mean, and I still get that thrill, you know, in different ways, you know, like the solo thing's completely different because I'm actually talking to people for the first time in my life rather than just being this sort of Uber PT instructor, you know, like, you know, which is cool. I love that. Like, because that's what
you're good at it.
That's what people are coming to do.
Yes.
They want to fucking jump up and down. They want to crowd surf. They want to, like, you know, use that energy. But
they are there for that, and they just need
They just need someone to go, yes, you can do it.
But it's true though. And some I know so many, lead singers or people in bands who just don't understand that's all it really is. It's actually very, very simple.
You just give permission.
Yeah. It's like, I'm in charge. I'm going to tell you what, we're all going to have a good time. Just follow our lead.
Follow this.
Yeah.
Check this. You can try this if you don't. You can try this dance move if you're not digging the one you're doing. This is cool. But yeah, the solo thing's different though, because it's like actually talking with human beings and being a human being myself rather than this sort of machine. You know, like I'm actually vulnerable, and it's really fucking cool to then do something powerful with that. It's a totally different thing. You know? And I'm loving that. You know, like it's like.
How long have you been doing that for?
That's like 2.5, 3 years maybe.
Okay.
And that was just came out of like doing. Someone from a bar said, "Do you do this?" And I went, "No, I don't really." But and they went, well, "Would you be interested?" I went, "Fuck it, sure, I'm not doing anything that weekend." And then learning a few songs, then going, wow, this is great. And then basically ringing up my booking agent going, I want to do this. And then going, for sure, I didn't realize that's what you'd be into, but yeah. And it's a totally new skill set, you know?
On an acoustic guitar?
Yeah, so like I've got, 2 acoustic guitars, boom, boom. It's just me and my voice and the guitar, you know? And the stories behind the songs, you know, how they fit into my life as a kid growing up listening to music, how they fit into me now.
It does have to become, a bit of that where you're talking a lot.
Well, it's almost a comedy show.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's almost, if I haven't made people fucking piss themselves, then I'm not doing my job in that thing. Yet, but the jokes only work if you then nail the fucking song with everything you got.
Well, I saw Adele there about a couple of months ago.
Oh, I missed it.
It was amazing, yeah.
I heard she was awesome.
And she'd talk for a really long time.
Yeah.
But then always nailed the song.
The song comes in and goes off.
Yeah, it was always...
Well, that's how you get away with it. You've got to fucking nail what you're doing. Yeah. Have you heard, is it Aldous or Aldous Harding? Aldous Harding?
No, I don't know. I feel like I've seen the name around.
Yeah, right. She's a New Zealand girl out of Littleton, I think, who's signed to 4AD.
Okay.
And she's just released a record called Party, and that's one of my favourite records of the year. I think it's fucking amazing.
Do you
definitely listen to that?
Okay.
Beautiful.
Do you spend much time in New Zealand anymore?
A lot of the time. So I basically just got back from working with the Christchurch Symphony Orchestra doing the David Bowie show.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the week before that, I was doing solo show. I did the King's Arms.
Yep.
And the week before that, I was in Wanaka doing that, plus working with musicians on the Adults record. So I'm in New Zealand a lot of the time.
Yeah. So most of the solo stuff is in New Zealand?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a couple of tours around Australia. I mean, I haven't done one for a little while. But yeah, mostly in New Zealand, yeah.
I just don't really, I've lost touch a little bit myself.
Sure, totally understand that.
I just think because none of the bands that I were in or have been in had any sort of success there, so I just don't end up going back. I mean, I spend more time in Mexico now,
awesome.
just because of
awesome
Miami Horror there, yeah. But it is funny, like you end up just being somewhere where your band is playing.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
don't really, because it's work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's where you
That's
end up.
great, man.
Yeah, it's fun over there. I like that. South America, a lot of Colombia, and we were just in Argentina for a week as well.
Awesome.
I don't know what it is. I just somehow, a lot of the Australian pop dance acts managed to kind of
Connect over there.
Yeah. There's something about maybe they want to shake their asses. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then because there's a sort of scene of those bands, they all sort of led on to each other.
Right.
And once you know the promoters, because we've been going there for about 5 or 6 years now, and you can just keep going back and.
So like once a year or?
Yeah, about that. We're going to Colombia for a week in a month or so. We just did one show in Chile, a week in Argentina. Then we're usually in Mexico 2 or 3 times a year.
Wow.
And then the States a lot now.
How does it pay?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, Argentina's not so good. That
Yeah.
was just because their dollar's not that good there. But Mexico's been good. Colombia's good. I guess it's just, as you become a band, the more and more you do it, you just find the places that work.
Yeah, totally.
And you just keep doing them.
Yeah, totally.
Does Shihad play in the States anymore?
We've never been back since
the
Pacify thing. You know, we just got burnt by that whole thing. It was just like, I think if the right show came along, maybe. But
So that's just kind of trying. You build up so much momentum, you're going for the thing, and then you listen to a few people that maybe you shouldn't do in order to try and get the dream to really.
Yeah, I mean, and then also changing the name and.
Well, it's all part of the list, sort of starting to listen to other people a little.
Yeah,
I mean, I
totally.
remember I watched your documentary, and you saying that was the first time when you listened to the record back that you didn't feel like, fuck everyone, this is the greatest record, I'm really proud of this.
Yeah, it was like,
much.
I think this is good rather than going, this is good, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first time.
That whole situation is just extremely difficult.
Oh, totally, man.
It must have been a nightmare.
Well, the fact that we're still banned after that, together, it's pretty amazing, I reckon,
Yeah.
that we actually survived. We can still be around each other. It's crazy.
I guess it's quite in the past now.
It's a long time ago.
That's a very long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, some of those songs are good, though.
Yeah, they're also, I mean,
Run's a good song.
I like that
I
song.
like that one,
So, you're happy, Jon?
Yeah, on a whole, I'm happy. I'm really, I'm really happy, actually. I'm definitely in a very, very healthy relationship for the first time in my life, and that helps a lot. And it's amazing how much more productive being in a healthy relationship.
Did you know you weren't in a healthy relationship?
I made the mistake of thinking or misunderstanding my father when my father said to me, you know that relationships are a lot of work, so you have to work hard. I took that as, okay, so no matter how miserable I am, I just got to keep working. Whereas what he was actually saying, and I said this in retrospect, which is a healthy relationship is hard work. Okay. Not a dysfunctional, abusive relationship is hard work. No, that's just madness, So yeah, so
how many years did it take?
18 years. Yeah. I stuck it out for 18 years.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Are you guys still friends?
Oh fuck no.
No.
No, not at all. No, not at all. I'm still very close with my stepdaughter, which is the best thing about it.
That's very cool.
Yeah, no, I haven't talked to her ever since.
Wow.
Yeah, and I hopefully will never talk to her again. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't need that in my life. This is someone who really convinced me that I would be nothing without her, and that that I should get a real job instead of being creative.
Really?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. So so now that I'm with someone who's supportive, I've made the Adults record. I've made the Five Eyes record. I've done the solo thing. I've done all these things that I wouldn't have had the self-esteem to be able to do.
Wow.
Because I had no self-esteem while I was in that other relationship. Yes, I was in this big rock band, but I was miserable, you know. And
That's a long time to be.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
To be miserable.
Yeah, but I was also, I love my stepdaughter as well, so I wasn't gonna like just.
Yeah, of course.
I stuck it out till she was 18, you know. Yeah.
Wow, that's how it works.
That's how it works.
You wait until
that's how it worked for me. Yeah.
Wait until the children are grown up.
Yeah, I was 18. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I stuck it out. Yeah. And then there was about 2 years of hell where she got used as a hand grenade. Not from my side, because I never ever badmouthed her mother. But I had to play the long game and wait till she sort of saw that we're both just people, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see, you older musicians happy and content with.
Well, I'm just happy that I'm really still productive, you know. I mean, like, seriously, the new adult stuff is sounding ridiculously exciting to me.
Yeah.
It's like reverse engineering music. It's like writing from a totally different world, you know. And I think people are going to dig it. And then I'm really excited about the new sort of darker Shihad stuff that we're doing.
It's so good to always be excited about the new thing, because it just keeps you wanting to stay around.
Totally, man. And even what I can do live with this sort of solo thing is really exciting to me. It's like really interesting to be able to talk to people and not be scared of talking to people. That's a new thing for me. You know?
How old are you now?
45.
45?
Yeah.
So you're going to be gone for a lot longer, aren't you? You must be slowing. Shihad slowed down in terms of touring.
I've got no interest in long fucking band tours with and none of us have. I mean, that's a young man's game, I reckon.
Oh, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, you have to have done it in your 20s, cemented something, and then you can kind of build on it in the later years.
Absolutely.
But if you didn't do that hard touring in your 20s, you're kind of fucked.
You're boned.
Unless you're Lana Del Rey or someone who just becomes real huge and she can play a handful of shows wherever she wants.
Yeah, that's sort of crazy. Yeah.
But there's not many people who have that.
Well, I mean, I've
fame.
got no interest in doing it. Yeah. No interest at all. I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing.
Do you have a musical ethic, an ethos that you live? It's just to be the best thing.
Ethos. Musical ethos. I mean, I don't know. I mentor kids at school, like for the New Zealand Music Commission in New Zealand. I do a bit of that, and I just basically. I mean, it's you've just got to talk about your experience, and you've got to be honest with yourself, and you've got to be honest with the world, and you've got to do your best. You know, you just got to do your best. You know, and I always say, just write fucking 10 songs. Out of that, most of them are going to be shit, but there's going to be a cool idea or two in one or two of them, and then that's your path for your next 10, you know? And then just keep going, because you only get good at what you practice, you know? And having that outlet of being able to write a song, like we're going back to what we're talking about, it being a catharsis or being a purge. I know a lot of non-musicians who envy the fact they don't have that outlet.
Yeah, you know? Of course. You know,
and I'm grateful every single day that I get to do this for a living. You know, it's like every day you get a chance to, you know, prove yourself to yourself and understand yourself a bit better, or understand the world you're in a bit better, and also, you know, collaborate with other people who are, you know, super talented or...
It teaches you a lot, and there's such a beautiful thing with musicians. They are all, a lot of the time, very open people who they know new music, they know different spiritual practice. You pick up a lot of things, totally, and especially as you get older, it's nice to stay in touch with younger musicians if you
definitely.
can.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Keeps you fresh.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean...
And open-minded.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, after doing 2 or 3 years of the New Zealand Music Commission, sort of work with the kids in high school age. There's so many talented kids out there. It's not funny, but what the ones that actually make a living out of it are the ones who work harder. That's basically all it comes down to.
So what I
think having a seriously big work ethic is probably my ethos or my thing. It's like,
well, it's and a self-belief to do that work as well.
Totally.
Because it's self, you have to motivate yourself.
Yeah, you have to motivate yourself.
It's really very difficult.
You're your own boss. Yeah. But yeah, the ones. I mean, like there's so many talented kids out there, and there always is. It's just, the ones that cut through are the ones who spend hours.
Yeah, I did 11 hours yesterday editing drums for new demos for all the colours, and then about 5 hours on this new song, just trying all this stuff. All right, I do still work hard on this.
That's good.
And I'm still obsessive.
But that's good though. It's like what better way to spend your time on this planet?
Yeah.
Than doing something creative.
But there is, I wonder about the narcissism fact of being an artist as well. There's a very fine line, because you have to really think you don't have to think you're awesome, but you have to really believe in yourself, and you you suffer for your art so that you can make other people suffer too.
Yeah.
I suffer for my art now. It's your turn, I think, is the same.
Yeah. No, I've married a chiropractor who's so she thinks that we're all mad, but at the same time thinks that it's awesome that we get to do what we do.
It is one of the best jobs in the world. Absolutely, to stand in front of thousands of people and not to have them adore you or anything, but to entertain them.
To make them feel good.
Yeah,
and to be doing something together with them.
And a positive thing as well.
That's awesome, man.
One final question.
Yeah.
Are you optimistic or pessimistic about the future of humanity?
It's always pendulum swinging. At the moment, it's the pendulum sitting in a place that I feel personally uncomfortable with, and I think we need to swing it back the other way, basically.
And how do we do that, John?
By being caring and empathetic and charitable and giving
to all, even the ones you think are idiots.
To everybody.
Yes.
To everybody. Yeah, to everybody. And maybe staying away from social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much for making the time.
Pleasure, dude.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you, John. What a guy. It was really, really great to sit down with him. He exudes a very positive, warm energy. I like him very, very much. It was cool to chat with him again. If you haven't, check out Five Eyes, as John was saying, the most recent Shihad record with that beastie down-tuned guitar tuning. It sounds awesome. I really, really like it. If you haven't, check out the General Electric. Excuse me. Ooh. Oh, their self-titled record, the Fish album, as they call it. That's one of my favorite ones, actually. It's a pretty old one now, I guess. Geez, that was the one that I feel like I know how to play every single song on that record. It was one of those things that you do when you're a kid playing the guitars. You learn how to play every song of your favorite records, and that was one of them. One of the best Shihad riffs, one of my favorite riffs of all time, a song called You Again off the Killjoy album. Check that out, all that. So thank you, John. Thank you, Shihad. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. There'll be more stuff soon. Good on you. Take care.